So everybody's talking about Love Island this season. It's season 7, and apparently you are living under a rock if you have not heard of the show, if you have not watched the show. And recently the show has come into my sphere because one of its contestants, Cierra Ortega, has been taken off the show for using racial slurs. And guess what? I'm about to defend her. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Yes, today we are talking about Cierra Ortega, who was just abruptly removed from the Love Island pool of contestants this season in season 7. I think we're at about episode 30 right now, and it was just announced that she is leaving the villa due to personal reasons. Now, if you're not familiar with Love Island, I have some explaining to do, I guess. Let's see if you can make it through this. So Love Island is a reality TV show. They put a bunch of hot guys and hot girls on a villa together, and these individuals couple up. Now, these couples compete against one another and go through elimination rounds, and by the end of the show, one lucky couple is chosen by the public to win $100,000. Now, throughout the show, there are couplings and uncouplings and recouplings, and the producers will throw in more hot people to just mix things up. Now, those more hot people are called bombshells, and Cierra Ortega was one of those bombshells thrown into the villa to stir up some drama and create a couple. And she did exactly that with a boy named Nick. Now, in the most recent episode of Love Island, episode 30, we got this message.
Welcome back to Love Island USA. Cierra has left the villa due to a personal situation, leaving Nick officially single.
Now, many on social media already knew why this happened and what the personal reason was, because there's been controversy and backlash stirring in regard to Cierra for quite some time. And I'm going to show you a TikTok explaining it. Now, it involves the use of a racial slur, and that racial slur is
No, as if things cannot get any worse for Cierra, she has allegedly used the C-word slur for a third time. I know we already know this information, but the dates are important. Cierra had previously used the C-word slur in an Instagram caption in 2015, and then in an IG story in 2024. When Cierra used the C-word slur in her IG story in 2024, it was while she was getting Botox to fix her eyes. Thank you to the person who had posted the screenshot to my comments, but at the time when Cierra had posted that IG story, someone had messaged her saying, like, we don't use that word, it's derogatory. They had also kindly sent a Google definition on why that word is offensive. And Cierra had responded with, oh man, thankfully that's not how I used it. But she was still using it in a negative way, saying that she's getting Botox to fix the look of her eyes. Mind you, that post is from January 2024. Someone posted a screenshot of a DM to Cierra in February of 2023, so a year prior, of them responding to one of her stories and saying, girl, that's a derogatory terms for Asians. Cierra responded to that DM and says, I just got educated on the topic, immediately deleting. I never knew the history of that word, but will for sure never use it again. Thanks for letting me know.
So she used a word in 2023 and then she used it again in 2024. The shock, the horror, the racism of it all. Now I can understand not wanting people to use this word or being upset at the fact that she used this word, especially to refer to herself as being unattractive for looking, quote, but my goodness, does she deserve the pile-on that she's getting right now? Absolutely not. And for those of you who don't understand the pile-on that she's receiving right now, she has lost hundreds of thousands of followers. And mind you, she's not even on the internet, as she has been on Love Island this entire time, and they're not able to access social media. So she's had a friend running her social media, apparently a best friend, who is now left her high and dry, separated herself from the social media account. Her family is now responding to this, watching as Cierra's life is torn apart online, saying Cierra doesn't even know what's happening right now. And we're just watching as our family members trying to, I guess, hold things accountable, but understand the situation and what's happening. She is being torn to shreds as a racist. And of course, she's now been abruptly removed from the show. And again, this is all happening because she used a word a couple of times, it seems. And this is not the first time that this has happened this season. Yulissa Escobar, who was another contestant on Love Island, this very season was removed for also having said a racial slur in the past. So this is not the first time that this even happened on Love Island alone. And I can already think of other stories that are very reminiscent of this. Mike Richards of Jeopardy's past, he was removed as the host of that show for having said a racial slur at some point. Chris Harrison of The Bachelor / The Bachelorette, he got removed from that show after defending a contestant who was part of an antebellum party. Maddie Healy went through a cancellation process for having used an Asian accent. Hannah Brown of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette also went through her own cancellation process and her own apology tour for having said a racial slur in the past. And of course, there's Morgan Wallen, who lost a bunch of deals, was dropped by hundreds of radio stations for having said a racial slur. So this happens over and over and over. And I just have to wonder, does the punishment fit the crime here? This seems awfully disproportionate. And I also wonder if there were other ulterior motives at play of getting Cierra removed, as many wanted to see the man that she was coupled up with on this show go to another woman. This seems like awfully too much for having said a word or two in the past. And if we are going to punish somebody this severely for having done something like this, what happens when they do something worse? I'm not one for really resurfacing these past comments at all, as they've happened years ago, and she could be a totally different person now. But if we're going to bring this into the social sphere and the public eye, why not allow her to speak about this on Love Island with maybe a contestant who may or may not have an issue with her commentary? We could have an open-minded discussion about this and actually educate others on these words. Rather than do that, you've just removed her from the show and said she's left due to personal reasons, and she's going to return to a life that right now is going to feel totally ruined. Her friends are ditching her, her family's having to defend her without her even knowing what's going on, and she's going to return to that life that is full of hurt, and she's going to need a lot of support. Meanwhile, the people who were offended by the word that she used on social media are going to go about their day and continue watching Love Island as if nothing ever happened. Are we out to ruin people's lives because of words now? It's really not making sense. And if you are out to ruin this girl's life, I hope your past is clean. I hope the past, which in its very nature is mostly meant to be forgotten or moved on from or progressed from, I hope your past is absolutely clean, that you've never said anything wrong. I hope your present and your future is absolutely clean. For how could you know what's even going to be offensive later on that you're saying now? I thought we were working our way out of this whole cancel culture thing. I thought we were actually inching, at least slowly, towards progress, but I guess not, because instead of having a discussion about these things, we are throwing tomatoes at the Apollo and beating this girl up till she can't get up anymore. I mean, you are going down to the very root of this person's existence. Her own best friend is now distancing herself from her on social media.
Cierra's friends just publicly dropped her after her racist posts came to light. For those wondering what the racist posts are, here they are. You can pause to read. MJ, who has been Cierra's handler for her social media accounts, went to her story and said this. Johnny, who is from Love Island Season 5 and one of Cierra's close friends, also posted this to her stories yesterday. MJ has confirmed that she handed over all of Cierra's social media accounts to her parents, and the reason the comments are off is not out of her control. What I find ironic is when people started realizing how PR trained Cierra was, these two girls went to bat for her and made multiple posts defending her. Now they limited their comments and are blocking people like crazy and muting a bunch of words. I'm glad they're speaking out against it, but it feels like a PR move for both of them, and they're protecting themselves for their brand. I do hope I'm wrong and Johnny and MJ are genuine and continue their current behavior when Cierra leaves the villa. But Cierra girl, you gotta start being nicer, because you don't have many friends on the outside anymore. As always, let me know your thoughts below.
You don't have many friends on the outside anymore? Are these people psychotic? This is actually insane to be trying to ruin somebody's personal life. I mean, the most important relationships that you build over your lifetime, over a couple words that they said on social media, you guys are insane. And guess what? You're never going to know whether or not you've made actual progress because you've just stuck somebody under your thumb and forced them to submit. You've created a wave of backlash and hatred and just gone after every single part of their being till they've been forced to submit to you and say, okay, we're not friends with her anymore. Okay, I didn't mean to say the word. Who gives a And another thing, with friends like this, who needs a damn enemy? They dropped her like a damn hot potato over some social media backlash. What is going on? Like, we know you saw her social media post because you're best friends, and we know you've hung out, and she's probably spoken like that, or you've probably spoken like that around her before because you're best friends. This does not make any sense whatsoever, but this is what happens when we create controversy and backlash, and we just pile on people and force them to submit to whatever it is is we want them to say, think, or feel. And it must be said that Cierra was not hurling this word at any particular individual. She was simply referring to herself and using the word in, yes, a way that could be seen as offensive. But she was not out to attack or violate any individual. And now her parents are posting on social media saying this has been the hardest few weeks of their entire lives as parents. Anyways, I can go on and on and on about this topic. I think you can tell how I feel about Cierra's treatment after these words have come out and these old social media posts have resurfaced. All I'm going to say is if you are going to be judge, jury, and executioner right now, really analyze yourself, do some thinking internally, and think about the judge, jury, and executioner that you want when your head is on the chopping block, because that day will come. And it may not come in the same way that it's happened for Cierra, where you're on public TV and everybody's viewing you and judging you and making social media posts about you. It may come in a friend judging you, or a family member, or your community, or people on social media judging you. And think about who you are now and how you're treating this girl and how you're coming down and trying to destroy her life, and think about whether or not that's the energy you want when you've made a mistake and it's resurfaced from a couple years ago. Just think about that. We sit on our moral high horses and think we would never say or do something like that, for we are so morally good in our past, in our present, and in our future. But just I'll bet the day is going to come for you. The day will come for you as it comes for all of us, because we all make mistakes. We all mess up. We all say things that offend one person or another. And at some point, you're going to have to defend yourself against somebody or something that is coming after you for having done or said something. And think about who you want to be there judging you, protecting you, supporting you in that time. And think about what this girl should be going through as a proportionate response to what she said or done, which is basically nothing. And with that, those are my thoughts on Cierra Ortega and Love Island. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, if you disagree with anything said in this video, duke it out, but do so respectfully. I encourage healthy debate on this channel. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is just about every day. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Yeah, you better.